Hello and welcome to the Minorities Report. I'm Chris.
I'm corrupt.
We're back after a while. Hope you all enjoyed Christmas by the time this comes out. It'll be in the new year, in the future. 2022.
2022.
Not much of a difference.
Pretty much, where aliens
Pretty
walk
much.
among us.
Uh,
They're flying
Did
cars.
someone just say Amogus?
Sussy baka.
Sussy Bucker. G sus. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Resident Evil, but before that, another bad adaptation. So in our last episode, I claimed that Netflix, despite how poorly received it was, would give Cowboy Bebop another season because they only care about the numbers.
I don't blame you.
Series that was on trending. We've seen this happen before. Surprise, surprise, it ended up being cancelled. There is a god.
Exactly, and he also hates Netflix. So what I heard was that the drop off was really huge. Like people would tune in to see what all the shit was about, and then the drop off would be 70% or some crazy shit like that.
Ooh, okay. So Netflix actually being smart and realizing, okay, let's not greenlit this for another season.
This is an awful fucking show, and nobody wants to watch it.
Good.
Yes.
It's terrible. It's god awful. Thank Christ. Now, if they could not continue with the supposed Netflix Death Note, that would be great.
Or One Piece. Oh, that's gonna make me sad.
If they could just scrap One Piece while they're at it, I
That
feel
would
like
be
they're like, ooh, when it's coming to One Piece, considering that no one liked Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
One Piece, the thing is, how hard is it to, Cowboy Bebop is somewhat grounded in realism. Just setting wise, just add spaceships and stuff. So it's not that hard to adapt, but they still fucked it up because they tried to loosely adapt it and then just fuck around with all the characters and the plot lines. One Piece, you can't adapt that.
No, One Piece is so over the top and crazy. There's no way
you're gonna have
adapt that.
Early Netflix with their budget, I could see them doing at least decent when it comes to CGI. Nowadays, no.
No, not really. No, it's gonna look cheap and it's going to look awful.
It is. Just fucking Luffy's fucking gum punches and everything. It's gonna look so god awful.
It's gonna look so bad. It's gonna be so bad.
Yep. I didn't have any hopes for the Cowboy Bebop one. I don't have any hopes for One Piece.
No,
Netflix with adaptations have not had a good track record.
They have a
with
really
anime
bad.
adaptations.
Yeah, they have a really bad reputation with anime adaptations.
Death Note, terrible. Full Metal Alchemist, terrible. Cowboy Bebop, terrible. One Piece, make it a quadruplet.
Just make it just stop making them. There you go.
Just do what made you big, Netflix. Original content. Oh wait, I should clarify that. Good original content.
Yeah, because there is
nowadays a lot of their original stuff isn't that good.
Yeah, a lot of this. You know what? Hopefully, Santa. You know what? I hope doesn't get a season 2. Santa.
Probably won't. It's one of the worst rated or something.
Yeah, it's one of the worst rated. It's one of the worst rated shows.
It is. Yeah.
So fucking.
Because I don't really watch a lot of the original stuff. I intend to, Squid Game. I'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, one day, if
one day I'll get to it. I keep hearing good things about it.
You should watch Squid Game. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
think it's just the hype. Around everyone's like, oh my god, if you guys watch Squid Game, it's so Parkers or Papega.
Here's what we can tell you about. Here's what we can say. Like, if we watched Squid Game, it wouldn't really change anything because we probably would like it, but what are we going to really add to the conversation? Oh, I really like Squid Game. It was good. Or if we didn't like, you know what would help? If we didn't like it and we just shit on it. That would probably help us out more than if we liked it anyway. Because then people would be angry and be like, "Oh my God, what do you mean you didn't like Squid Game?" Oh!
Dude, you guys got the money and you decided to go back in, fucking idiots. Like, yeah, we'll get to it. Arcane, I'll get to one day.
Like, I'll be honest.
We'll see.
Okay, so I watched Arcane with Skull, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. I did like it, but there were some parts about it that made me go, but I did like it. Overall, I'd say it was good. I would say it was a good show.
Yeah. I think the only thing I've watched on Netflix recently is something I've already watched before, and that was Godzilla vs. Kong. Because I'm like, I just want to see fucking big monkey fight big lizard again.
It makes my brain do a happy.
Yeah, my neurons are activated.
Exactly. Like, I don't need an explanation. I don't need a big exciting plot. I'm sorry, I don't need like an intricate storyline. I just need to see big lizard fight big monkey and like with CGI, that's it. And then they team up and they become friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they kill the big robot lizard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't need anything else. New season of Witcher? No, I'm just gonna watch fucking Harambe fight Barney.
Yo, did you hear? Like, apparently, Witcher season 2 was like not well received by the fans. The critics like it, but the fans did not.
Yeah, I heard it's not particularly that good. First season was alright. I think I don't know, it just really took a while because they had the deviating plots until they came together. It then deviated again.
It makes me really sad too because Henry Cavill is fucking dope. I love Henry Cavill.
He's awesome.
He really is.
I saw a video of him like talking about just like I think it was like it was on like Netflix Geeked or something, and like is like what kind of like hobbies or stuff are you doing nowadays? And like the other cast members like, oh, here we go. He's gonna talk about Warhammer 40k, and he's like, oh, I've just been painting, Warhammer, 40,000 figures. That's what I do. It's very therapeutic. I love doing that. And like one of the other cast members does it as well. And it's just like, oh, what army are you doing? It's like, I'm doing this army. It's, oh, that's interesting. I'm doing this army. We should get together and have a battle. Stuff like that. Henry Cavill's great.
He really
and he's a fan of
is.
The Witcher, so he has more of an insight. Because I think because they know he's a fan, he has more leeway. Because apparently they did change stuff. Because Henry Cavill said, I think this would be better because it's from the source material. This would have more emotional weight because this is the line that's said in the book. And it still fits.
Oh my god, I love that. An actual fan of the source material on like one of these big projects. We need more of that.
An actual fan, not this loosey-goosey. I'm a fan. And then they proceed to like fuck it up somehow.
You mean Kevin
Smith?
Yeah,
sure.
Like Kevin Smith. Oh yeah, I totally watch this shit. I totally like this show.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of He-Man.
Exactly.
Makes the biggest fucking middle finger to He-Man.
No, right? It's just like, no.
You're a really weird fan. Did you go to the Chris Chibnall School for Writing for fans?
It seems like it. It's also this sounds so random, but I see people like upload like Switch gameplay, and I'm like, how do I do that? Do I need a capture card for that?
Maybe.
Because
probably.
Because I see people upload it on their fucking channels and shit, and I'm like, I want to upload some fucking Switch gameplay. I want to upload some Shin Megami Tensei 5. Then everyone can see me have a panic attack trying to jump across platforms in a fucking castle.
But yeah, Cowboy Bebop, it is killed. The evil is defeated.
The evil is defeated! Yay!
We did it. We did it, boys and girls.
We did it, fam.
We did it.
The era of the Chud looms closer.
Yeah. And then even more good stuff, Spider-Man. I don't know if you've watched it yet, but I did.
Okay. You said it was a 9 out of 10, right?
Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 film.
So let me express to you how impressive that is for Chris. For movies that he likes, he will give a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. This is a Marvel film.
Seriously.
If you've seen our talk about previous Marvel films, we don't particularly like the MCU.
No, we don't.
And I didn't particularly care for MCU Spider-Man. I liked Homecoming. It was nice. Far From Home was predictable because I knew from the get-go Mysterio was the villain. And then the forced MJ love interest came out of nowhere, just suddenly, oh, I'm really into MJ. It's like, since fucking when? You were like trying to bang Vulture's daughter in the previous film. You showed no interest in MJ, and she definitely showed no interest in you. But like, yeah. No Way Home, I was like, oh, this is just going to be like, it's just going to be nostalgia with the same old MCU cookie cutter stuff. But no, it was fucking great.
Well, I
love the nostalgia in this. It was probably my favorite MCU film. It was great. They finally figured out how to make Spider-Man Spider-Man and not Iron Boy Jr.
He even has his old school costume. The blue and the red, baby.
Yeah. Spoilers, yeah. At the end of the film, he makes his own costume. It's not a hand-me-down from Tony Stark.
He becomes Spider-Man, baby.
Becomes Spider-Man. And fucking Green Goblin is great in this film. Willem Dafoe.
Yo, how is Electro in this anyway?
He's much better.
Is he in the movie much?
He's essentially he's pretty much the secondary antagonist.
Really?
Kind of. Yeah, I would say so. He's kind of the secondary antagonist.
Interesting.
At the point of the film, like, Peter gets them all, and then he finds out the one thing that kind of connects all of them is that they all die facing Spider-Man. And Peter's like, even though I don't really know these people, I want to help fix them. Like, maybe they don't have to die. Maybe I can fix them. You know? It's as if they are terrible e-girls, and Peter's the simp. I can fix her.
I can fix her. She can
So
be a good girl.
He succeeds with Doc Ock, giving him like control over the tentacles instead of the tentacles controlling him. He's devised a way to help Norman, like essentially just cure him of the Goblin persona.
Yeah.
And then makes a device to fix Electro. But like they're kind of Electro's skeptical about it, and they do have a means of going home, but like Peter's keeping it away from them because he's like, I want to fix you first. So like Norman does his whole like, haha, I was actually the Goblin the entire time. Like, can Spider-Man come out to play? And like fights Peter. Electro decides, fuck this. Like, we just want to go home. So I don't care about this whole fix thing. I have more power here than in my actual home, so I'm just gonna take it.
Oh,
it makes more sense for him to like steal something from Tony Stark because he is obsessed with power, with electricity. Like when he sees the arc reactor, he's like, "Yo, I'm pretty hard." He doesn't say that. But
I'm pretty hard.
He's like, "Dude, I'm rocking a fucking hard on right now, seeing this electricity, like
Bruh.
this kind of power."
Bruh.
That's why he has it when he appears in the final battle, because it's giving him more power. Makes more
Bruh.
sense.
If she were a girl, I would be in her right now.
Yeah. Essentially, like most of them just like either like I think it's either they just want to go home or they just don't want their fates of like them dying.
And Electro wants more power, so he's just like, I'm gonna stay here.
Essentially, yeah. I think he's like, oh yeah, I want to go home, but like considering like he gets more power here because he's kind of cured. No longer fucking Blue Man Group. He still has his powers, but he now looks like Jamie Foxx. So he's like, maybe I just want to stay here. You know?
And take all this
So,
power
like
from
Sandman and Lizard team up with him. Norman's just out on his own because he just wants to fuck with people because Green Goblin.
Wait, so Sandman and Lizard team up with Electro?
Yeah.
Who does Dr. Octopus team up with?
The Spider-Man.
The
That's
Spider-Man.
that's the little surprise at the end because he appears and it looks like it's actually Doctor Octopus again, but no, he helps the Spider-Man. Which I would say, to no one's surprise, Andrew and Toby are in the film.
Yeah, we kind of got spoiled on that too, didn't we?
It's obvious. It is. Fucking great moments as well. They redeem Andrew's Spider-Man in this one. He mentions the whole he accidentally killed Gwen. And like he tried to still be Spider-Man afterwards, but he just got really bitter. And it got really hard for him to be Spider-Man.
Oh, and he just
They do the whole like, oh no, MJ's gonna die, and like, MCU Peter tries to rescue her, but he gets attacked. But Andrew saves her. He's like crying. He's like, I actually saved her. Couldn't save Gwen, but I saved MJ. And it's just like, God, you two Spider-Man, you guys are so cool, and I'm over here, I'm not that good. And Toby's like, you're amazing. Like, get it? Because Amazing Spider-Man. Because I know you're actually amazing.
That's what he says about Tom Holland?
No, but Andrew Garfield.
Oh,
Andrew
okay.
Spider-Man. He calls him amazing.
Oh, I like that. You're amazing.
Yeah. It's really good. Good film. Finally, we get some good MCU films. None of this shit.
None of this.
Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals.
Ugh, garbage.
We get some
all
good
of them.
MCU.
So this is what it's like.
Now I think we're just gonna get we're gonna just get terrible again.
Now that we've gotten good, we're gonna get terrible again. Okay,
Yeah.
Thor,
Except for
Love
maybe
and Thunder.
Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange looks pretty good.
Love and Thunder is going to be so absolute shit.
It is, yeah. I mean, I like Taika Waititi, but like,
Ooh, that shit's gonna be so bad.
they just like, it's like, let him do anything. It's like, well, you kind of set a theme with the Thor films, and he just decided to go with the Guardians route.
Love and Thunder is gonna be so fucking terrible.
It's just gonna be Thor Ragnarok again. I feel like it,
With lesbians?
which I thought was okay, but like it's such a huge departure, and it's better than Dark World, but like you have to keep a consistent tone with this series, this character's films.
Honestly,
You don't, because you realize no one liked Dark World and more people liked Guardians. Hey, Thor's in space. Let's just make him like Guardians.
like that sounds.
What are we doing with the Disney Plus shows? I don't know. Let's bring in the Netflix characters.
Let's bring in the Netflix characters. You know what? That's what I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna bring in.
Well, they did already.
Right? Yeah, because they
Kingpin-
have
King-
Kingpin, Daredevil. Now,
Daredevil and No Way Home.
yeah. Now they're just gonna bring it. Now they just need Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
I did like, even though yeah, it was already spoiled. I did like Daredevil's cameo in No Way Home. somebody like throws a brick into the house and he just instantly catches it, and they're like, "Whoa, what the?" And he's like, "I'm a really good lawyer."
I like the fact. I wonder how they're going to how they're going to properly reintegrate him. I wonder if they're going to give him.
Because apparently he's rumored to appear in the She-Hulk series.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense.
That would make sense considering their careers, like him being a lawyer
and her being a lawyer,
like an attorney.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense for him to be in like She-Hulk.
But is he going to get his own series again? That's the question.
I mean, I'd hope so. He had the best of the Netflix series until about like half of season 2 and series 3. I know. We'll have to wait and see. Go watch Spider-Man. That's my recommendation.
Yes.
Go watch Spider-Man.
It's better than what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't watched Matrix. I have no plans of watching Matrix. I've heard it's bad, so...
Matrix Resurrections?
Yeah. I heard is just like, guys, remember that film?
You want to watch it for the podcast?
I guess we have to now. Sure. I love Keanu, but like sometimes he just has bad decisions.
Matrix 4 Resurrections. I don't know. I don't want to be that one friend who's always like, "Hey, you want to watch something terrible that you'll be miserable through all?" We can watch Spider-Man No Way Home and do a proper review for it.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Speaking about something we finished watching that was terrible. Resident Evil.
Welcome to Racoon City. Yeah.
Welcome to shit.
Welcome to shit.
So, we got another Resident Evil film. Not entirely done by Paul W. Sanderson. He is, I think, a executive? I had a look. I can't remember. I remember when we saw the credits, Paul W. Sanderson was credited. I can't remember what it was for. I don't know. Maybe it was just the, reference to the other films or something? I don't know. Considering this film is nothing, half of the film is nothing but, guys, reference. You remember the games?
Remember the games?
Yeah.
Remember this thing in the game? Remember that thing in the game?
Oh, that was a lot of like, just like, what was it, like, at the diner, I think like Jill asked, like, what would you rather be killed by? A giant snake or like a giant shark? And I was like, oh, really? It's like, guys, get it? It's a reference to Neptune and Yawn from Resident Evil 1.
Look at that. Oh. Look at that, see? Reference. Do you get the reference? I bet you didn't get the reference.
But, the story of this film is that it doesn't really have a story because it's two stories jammed into nonsense. But the story of this film is that Claire arrives in Raccoon City to help expose Umbrella. At the same time, Chris and the rest of STARS are sent to the Arklay Mountains to investigate Spencer Mansion. But a zombie outbreak has occurred, yada yada. It all somehow fucking connects to one another, despite the fact it doesn't really. It just conveniently all head to the same place. Like I remember, like when they meet up with Lisa Trevor. And Claire's like, you know how to get to the Spencer Mansion, don't you, Lisa?
Wait.
Well, like, why? How? How did you know this? How would you surmise that Lisa Trevor just knows how to get to the Spencer Mansion?
Chris. This is really off topic, but this is really funny. Okay, so Movie Bob, right, made a tweet shitting on Ditko and saying basically shitting on him and talking about how he didn't care that he was dead. Oh, basically just being a complete asshole to somebody about Dicko. So me, like his tweet only got like 7 likes, and me and a few other people replied, did like quote tweet replies to it, and I said like, shouldn't you be creeping on Lindsay Ellis? And now his tweet is gone. I cannot find it.
Probably deleted it.
He just deleted it, and I'm just like, really? Like, I don't know, that shit just made me laugh. Like, holy shit. Yeah, it's just gone. He just deleted it. He made some tweet shitting on...
He didn't want to disrespect his girlfriend.
Alright.
Anyway, yeah, like, the Resident Evil, everything just fucking collides with each other because the plot needs to happen. But, like, yeah, like, oh, Lisa, you know how to get to the Spencer Mansion, right? Because in Resident Evil 1, that's where you're in. You're in the Spencer Mansion. You're undergrounded sometimes. Maybe you're in it. But in the movie, it makes no sense. Just Claire asks her, you know how to get to the Spencer Mansion, don't you? And she conveniently shows them the way.
So, like, to pull back for a bit and kind of, like, narrow, to kind of give an idea of what happened. So, like Chris said, Claire arrives in Raccoon City, Raccoon City?
Raccoon City, yeah.
To expose Umbrella. She goes to, like, initially what happens is, it's, like Chris said, it's a mix-up of different stories. So she's with a trucker who's like an asshole. He isn't paying attention to the road. Collides with some woman who was turned into a zombie who was walking across the street.
Yeah.
Then that's when and while that's happening, we look at Leon, who in this movie is a completely incompetent pussy. Like,
yeah.
Like, none of the characters look like their video game counterparts, right? So, like...
Except for maybe Chris, but that's it.
Exactly. Like, Chris has, like, long, shaggy hair, and he has a mustache. You
mean Leon?
Leon, thank you. I don't know why I said Chris. I meant Leon. Leon has, like, long, shaggy hair, a mustache, and it just, like... Cut this nigga's hair.
Why wasn't this guy... Yeah, why wasn't this guy Carlos instead? He had a Carlos. He kind of has the look. He made him Leon.
For some reason, it would have made more sense to make him Carlos, but like that would have... I guess that would have taken more thought.
But no, we're adapting 1 and 2 and connecting them, despite the fact they're not supposed to connect really. When you could have just done 2 and 3, which both take place roughly around the same time.
And it would have made more sense, and you wouldn't have had to do all these, like... You wouldn't have had to do all these mental gymnastics to get things to make sense to blend together.
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, like, while he's in the diner being picked on... And what's weird is that they made Leon incompetent. I don't really get that. I never got I never got that from him as a character. Like, they made him this guy who's, like, always picked on and who's, like, seen as, like, an idiot, and it's just, like, it's just
like
not the character.
It's like they saw the meme, it's like they saw the meme that Leon is gullible and just ramped it up. And swapped gullible with dumb.
Yeah, because he does some stupid shit in this fucking movie. Like... Yeah.
He was fumbling with the cell keys. He accidentally goes to the STARS meeting when he wasn't supposed to.
And then he just gets humiliated for it. Like, it's just like, why do you hate Leon so much? Anyway, so... Chris, like... So when they get to town, like, so when they get to town, she goes, like, Claire goes, because it was Claire, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Thank you. Like, I don't know why I, like, blanked on her name completely. But, like, Claire goes to the fucking, Claire goes to her brother's house, breaks in, and then he comes up, and then he's angry, and he's like, why did you break into my house and all this shit? And then she wants him to look at this conspiracy theory guy talk about how the water is being poisoned by, like, Umbrella, and how Umbrella is evil. Yada yada yada. Like, from there, the movie isn't, like, despite the fact that it's a Resident Evil movie, it's really slow. Like, it takes a long time for anything to really ramp up. Like, and don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted. Like, Chris and I both kind of enjoy, like, a slow burn type of movie, as long as it has, like, a good build up and a good setup. But this movie had no good setup. It was just really, really slow. Like, it took them a long time to introduce any zombies. And it was confusing when they did, because, like, okay, so the town is being poisoned by Umbrella because Umbrella, I think, dumped chemicals in the water. What was it they were doing?
Yes.
They were
Something like that.
They were dumping, like, chemicals in the water and slowly poisoning and mutating the people in the town. But it was hard to understand if the people were mutants, or if they were zombies, or if they were, like, mutant zombies, because, like, on one hand, they would just act crazy and weird, but they seem normal. Okay, like, here's a good example, right? So Leon is in a diner with like, the waitress, like, right, and her eye just starts bleeding out of nowhere, and then she goes, "Oh, that's weird," and, like, that's it. Like, that's, like, your eye is literally bleeding, and your only reaction is to go, "Oh, that's weird." And Leon is, like, more, like, concerned about her eye bleeding than she is. And then there's some scene where Claire is in, like, Chris's house, and, like, people break into it, and, like, some little girl crawls under the table, and Claire's like, "Are you okay?" And the little girl is like, "Yeah, but you aren't." And then this bitch breaks into the house and tries to kill her. And it's just like, it's hard for me to understand if the zombies are zombies, or if they're people that are, I guess this is supposed to be the effect of them transforming slowly into zombies. Like, they become weird and crazy, but, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how the process happens. And you see that throughout the movie, where, like, things will happen, where things like that'll happen, and they just aren't really explained that well. And it just sucked. It was fun to make fun of, though. I enjoyed that. Is there anything else you want to add?
There is. Oh, this film is it's just so bad, and it's when it comes to most adaptations, I try my very best to separate it from the full source material. You know, hey, maybe sometimes it can stand out on its own, like, you know, like Jason Momoa's Aquaman.
Yeah.
Sure, it uses Throne of Atlantis and some stuff from the Jeff Johns run as the basis, but, like, Jason Momoa doesn't look like Arthur Curry, doesn't really act like Arthur Curry most of the time, but I still think he's a good Aquaman. I can like him separately from the source material. But, like, with Resident Evil, like, it's so hard, because I just kept on questioning, why is this the thing when it's not that in the games? Like, why are Chris and Claire orphans that were raised by Birkin? Like, why is Jill in a pointless relationship with Wesker if it's not even, like, a focal point? Like, why is Chief Irons not a corrupt police chief? just angry police chief.
I think he was supposed
Why
to
is
be
Claire? Why does Claire know Lisa? Why did no Lisa Trevor? Why is this random footage of the Ashford twins? Like, it's just it is so bad. It's so infuriating. Like, fucking the worst Wesker. I mean, the fucking Paul W.S. Anderson Wesker is better than this Wesker, and that Wesker was terrible.
I mean, like, the sad part is that Wesker at least looked like Wesker. This guy didn't even look like Wesker. He just
Didn't
looked
even
like...
try.
Not at all. He was just some big dude.
He's not as intimidating or as cool as, like, the actual Wesker.
He's just this big goofy dude with a gun. That's it. He's just like...
I wasn't gonna shoot the little girl. Dude, if this was actual Wesker, he wouldn't have fucking hesitated.
He would just killed the little girl.
Yeah.
He, like, completed his mission and was like, there, I'm out.
He would have actually kept up the facade. Unlike Wesker in this film, who is very obviously shady. He's not even trying to hide the fact that he's got ulterior motives.
Seriously, like... He doesn't make any... He doesn't come off as, like, one of the team. He comes off as somebody who's just there for his own benefit. And it's just like, that's not really Wesker. He's good
and,
at...
like, and just, like... It was... And it is so obvious they really tried to connect RE1 and RE2 when those two games, aside from some character connections, don't really connect at all.
And if the concern was
That's why they're two separate things.
And if the concern was that, like, there wouldn't be enough plot for one, then just do what Chris said and just make 2 and 3.
Yeah, or with one with. I can't even really say would agree with, like, if there wouldn't be enough plot if they used the first game. You have Chris's story and Jill's story. Just combine them together and switch back and forth, and then they connect at the end anyway. Just make it like the canon thing that, like, Chris eventually finds Jill and rescues her, and then they escape with Rebecca.
Exactly.
And then they face off against the Tyrant one more time, while they wait for, like, Brad to arrive.
I mean,
on the helicopter. Like, you can do that.
I mean, they can make another PS1 Tyrant, you know.
Yeah.
Like how we got William Burt. Remember what he transformed into?
Oh boy, yeah. The fucking CGI is not particularly good here. Fucking liquor. Ooh. Liquor, and then the G mutant. Oh.
Remember when William... What was so weird was that, like, they never explained why William Birkin was still, like, self-aware.
Yeah. He's taunting Chris.
Wasn't he just supposed
like,
to be
this really came out of nowhere.
Wasn't he just supposed to be another monster when he transformed?
Essentially, when he becomes... That's the whole point with, like, a lot of, like, the different viruses is that depending on, like, certain circumstances, like, you know, Wesker, they just turn into monsters.
Yeah,
different
like,
variations.
Isn't Wesker one of the few people who don't just turn into, like, some random monster or some shit?
Yeah. There's reasons why, but, like, yeah. No, like, it's fucking just comical how bad Birkin was. It's weird because I feel like Neil McDonough, the actor, he should have just been Wesker. I feel like he would have been a better Wesker. It would be still bad, but I feel like he would have been a better Wesker than the actual Wesker we got in this film.
Seriously, like, because the Wesker we got in this film was not... You know what he was? He was just some random guy.
Random dude. And
yeah, like, he would have been...
Turns out he's alive, because you know how Wesker always lives? And he's blind.
This guy would have been.
He gets his glasses and he's okay for some reason.
Now he can
he's got his iconic glasses.
Because Ada Wong gave it to him.
Yeah.
It would have been better.
reasons.
You know what? It would have been better if he was just fucking. I almost said if he was just. You know what? It would have been better if they had just made another. If they had just made another movie that was inspired by. And that was just inspired by Resident Evil. Maybe that would have made a lot. Maybe that would have just been better than what we got.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Because this was fucking awful, man.
It really dragged out. It really was a mess of like, it was so obviously like two stories connected together, but not well. It just really didn't connect. It just became convenient. It became so convenient that they all meet up at the same place because like, oh, Chief Irons knows a way out. There's a secret passage that can get them, that leads them to the orphanage where Claire and Chris grew up. And then in the orphanage is a secret passage that goes to the fucking Spencer mansion where they conveniently meet up with Jill, Chris, and Sherry.
You know what I found funny about this? What I found funny about the movie? How low budget it was. Like,
Yeah.
remember how like there was barely anyone in the fucking town?
Yeah. Just conveniently, they had a lot of people just outside of the police station. That's it.
Like seriously, there was barely anyone around, and then
And like Raccoon City is supposed to be like a big city. Or at least a very populated city. Like, there's like fucking no one because it's like middle of nowhere.
And I guess they were supposed to say, "Oh, it's in the middle of nowhere. That's why there's not that many people." Yeah, but like, even towns in the middle of nowhere have more than 5 people in them.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I mean, on one hand, I guess they were trying to make a movie for the fans because like there's a lot of references to video games, I guess, but then
Oh.
Chris is like, no. Well, I tried. I tried to defend the movie somewhat.
Like that, just because you make references doesn't mean the fan's going to be like, oh, this is a good film. They made a reference.
That's true.
They made a reference. Like, if No Way Home was nothing but references to the Raimi and Garfield films, like, that would not make it a good film if it was just references.
I agree. You're right.
They do make references, but that's not the entirety of the film.
And the references, and even though they make the references, they're kind of shallow anyway.
Yeah. Whereas in No Way Home, like, it's just like they're trying to like drive it down, like really force it in. Like, guys, this is a reference. Please clap.
So
The only one that really is maybe when this Green Goblin says, I'm something of a scientist myself. But that fits with why he says that, because Peter's trying to help them. He's like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. And that's when Norman says, I'm something of a scientist myself. He can help.
exactly, it's like so it kind of alright. Since Chris had to step away for a moment, I'll do something else. So it's time we had a conversation about. Oh hey,
I'm back.
Chris is back. Well, there goes my. Oh, there. So, like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Matrix. I know you haven't really seen it, and I haven't really watched it either, but it kind of reminds me of what people are saying about the Matrix Resurrections. How, like, it tries to bank on it. It tries to be nostalgia.
Member berries.
Exactly, it tries to be nostalgia of the movie, but it's just so confusing and convoluted that no one wants to take that it's just bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if a movie is just member berries, then it's a bad movie. I'm sorry, but there has to be more to a movie than like, oh, remember this, remember that, remember that, remember that, remember that. Like, if a movie is just remember this or remember that, then it's a shit movie. You gotta have You gotta have more substance than that when it comes to a movie.
Characters were not interesting. The story was just bland and then rushed it in a lot of parts. It's not a good film.
It felt more like someone who had like a shallow like knowledge of like the Resident Evil movies and went, oh, these are video games, so let's put things in the movie that'll make the fans clap for it. Like, no, like that's not how it works. You gotta have more than that when it comes to a movie. Or else people just tune out and they just don't care.
Yeah. So, fucking 2 out of 10 for this film. Maybe even a 1.
I'm gonna get like I can't. You know what's sad? I can't even give it a 2 out of 10 because I wanted to see like, oh well, I like the slow burn build up of like weird shit happening, but like it was so poorly executed that the weird shit that slowly built up was this just sucked. Like for example, right? Also, the level of coincidence in this movie fucking sucked. So the conspiracy theory guy who's like, oh, Umbrella is doing all this bad shit in this town, he's randomly in the jail. And before he can explain anything of what's going on or why people are transforming into weird zombies, he gets eaten and killed. And it's just like...
Yeah. I mean, that kind of happens in the game, but there's a bit more to it. But like, yeah, like it's just like, oh, he's brought up, and then like here he is, and then just dies.
I mean, like, I get like the police chief is corrupt, and it's their way of, and it's his way of like keeping everything, under, you know, like under control and shit. But it's just so poorly executed. Yeah. I don't know. That was my biggest issue with the movie. It's just like the poor execution of everything.
Yeah. So don't watch it. Goes without saying, don't watch it.
If you do watch it, don't go in expecting a good movie.
Be heavily sedated with alcohol.
Be heavily sedated. Yes, be heavily sedated.
Exactly.
Maybe laugh at the terrible
you would honestly have a much better time watching the Paul W.S. Anderson films, and they are oh so terrible.
Exactly.
They are funny. It's funny how bad they are.
They also have a budget.
Sometimes it's a questionable budget sometimes, but yeah.
There's a scene in the Paul W. Anderson fucking films where Alice, the lead character, I shit you not, drives a motorcycle through a fucking cathedral window to kill a fucking liquor. It's so fucking stupid.
Just conveniently out of nowhere.
Like, the scene has all the tension, all the dread, all the build-up, all the all the ingredients you need to make a tense, exciting scene are just completely ripped away by this stupid fucking scene with the goddamn motorcycle. Like, you made it so fucking... You made this one scene where like, the characters are basically on the verge of literally being killed by this fucking monster, and then out of nowhere comes this bitch on a Harley. It's like, what the fuck? You're like, why would you ruin a scene that way? And it's just so much shit like that in these movies. Where, like, oh, there's one scene where she's fighting a bunch of zombies with a katana. It is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen. It's just like... And then, oh my god, oh no, the best scene, Chris. Remember when she gets into a fist fight with Nemesis?
Oh, yeah.
So, for people who don't know what Nemesis is, right? Nemesis is this big, hulking fucking monster, right? It's like this big, gigantic fucking... Because Nemesis is a tyrant, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So...
He's a tyrant, yeah.
Tyrants are like these giant mega mutants. They're huge. They're really fucking strong. They're basically like final bosses in fucking Resident Evil games. And like Alice, who's like the main character, has a fucking fist fight with one. And it's just the stupidest fucking shit. Like, you basically ruined like the tension, the atmosphere, the level of threat and intimidation this character has, just so you can like masturbate to your wife being a tough girl. Like, come on, man. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, whatever. I'm done. This movie sucked.
Want to outro us out then?
Yep, I guess I have to. Let's see. Oh, are you gonna be around next Wednesday?
Probably, yeah.
Alright, awesome. We can do something next Wednesday. You wanna watch okay. It's up to you. Do you want to watch Spider-Man or do you want to watch Matrix?
And I've already seen Spider-Man. I don't want to watch Matrix, even though we said we would.
Alright, so you want to watch something else that's actually good?
I know, I'd be down to watch Spider-Man again.
Alright, let's watch some Spider-Man. Oh, you know what? It'll be good because I've never seen it, so like I can watch it with you then.
Yeah.
I'm interested in like, so I can watch some Spider-Man with you. That'll be good. Alright, so anyway, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Minorities Report. I'm Corrupt.
I'm Chris.
And join us next time as we do a review of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? I almost said I'm Chris.
You almost fucked it up.
But I didn't. I did this time. I'm kind of happy about that.
Good.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.